Here are 6 players to trade away after the 2025 NFL Draft. I'm Jim Coventry, and I'm joined by Anthony Cervino. Let's start out with Tryone Tracy, New York Giants. Now, remember, fantasy managers may remember that solid production that Tracy had last year, so he may have some appeal if offered in trade. But then, here's the move. Cam Skattebo, 4th round, 3rd pick, power runner, some catching ability. Now, go back to Tracy. Tracy last year, it was 5 of 6 games between weeks 5 and 10. He had 16 to 20 carries. That was like legit heavy duty work. But then after that week 11 bye, they scaled his work back. He had 10 or fewer carries in 4 of 7 games, averaging 12. They scaled him back. So we already know what the Giants think about him. They don't see him as a full-time back. And actually, Tracy down the stretch, because he had work earlier, he fell his last 7 games at 3.46 yards per carry. Skattebo will be the lead back here. Maybe not week 1, but soon. So sell Tracy, because some people are not going to be worried about the 4th round draft capital. It's significant. Anthony, who do you got?
Yeah, you got to sell Jonathon Brooks while you still can. Last year, it looked like Jonathon Brooks was the future of the Carolina Panthers backfield. Former 2nd round pick. That is no longer the case. Coming off of another significant injury, we also saw the breakout and emergence of Chuba Hubbard, and then the Panthers paid him. And then this offseason, they go ahead and bring in Rico Dowdle. Now, heading into the draft, Carolina didn't do anything early, but they brought in Florida's Trevor Etienne, and that spells doom for Jonathon Brooks. It's a tough reality. Injuries really set this kid back, and 2 ACL tears, crowded backfield, not a great scenario. If there's any way you can get any compensation in a dynasty league, get out from under him while you still can.
My next player to trade away is Xavier Legette of the Carolina Panthers. Now, some will remember down the stretch, 3 of the last 5 games, Legette had 8 or 9 targets. It was looking up. Now, the volume didn't turn into production that much, but it was still promising. Because remember, Legette was a late 1st round pick in 2024. So people might be targeting as a breakout. Well, 8th pick, 2025 draft, McMillan comes in. He is your classic alpha receiver. He gets more of that sideline, perimeter, ball winner, but McMillan is versatile. He is going to command more targets than Legette. And I'm also worried about Legette with Bryce Young. Bryce Young's arm strength is an issue. Legette had a 33rd percentile catch rate, which I think largely goes to the fact that Bryce Young struggles to drive the ball to the perimeter. So that said, I said McMillan should dominate targets. Legette still has a 1st round pedigree. You sell him now because that value is going to fall quickly. Hey, we're offering 15% off all RotoWire products. Simply go to RotoWire.com, pick your favorite product. You use the code ROTO15, ROTO15 to score your 15% discount. Again, RotoWire.com, use the code ROTO15 at checkout. Anthony Cervino, who is your next player to trade away?
Yeah, next up, we are trading away Jalen McMillan, one of my favorite players. Roller coaster rookie year, but down the stretch was simply outstanding. 8 total touchdowns, 5 straight top 19 finishes in that period. Well, it looked like he was primed for a big-time role this year. Then they re-signed Chris Godwin. We know Evans on a roster. And heading into the draft, they did the unthinkable. They go and spend 1st-round capital on Igbuka. And what does that tell me? It tells me that Jalen McMillan, as good as he is, he's probably going to be number 4 or even 5 in the pecking order for targets. Igbuka has the draft capital edge over McMillan. There's also a rapport between Baker Mayfield and Cade Otton. They throw to the running backs. I just don't see enough consistent target volume for Jalen McMillan. Now, we know next offseason, Mike Evans is a free agent, but for the immediate future, Jalen McMillan is probably the odd man out. Trade him while you can.
All right, I may be Captain Obvious here. My next player to trade away is Rhamondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots. And I get it. There may not be a hot trade market for Stevenson after the Patriots drafted Travion Henderson. But some people will say Henderson's 202 pounds, Stevenson's 227. And they may say Stevenson still could be the goal line. He still could get early down work. But hey, Stevenson fumbled 7 times last year. I know it's a new coaching staff, but that's been a problem for him. And the fact that even though Stevenson's in the year 2 of a lucrative 4-year deal, that draft capital in Henderson is going to make Stevenson much of a non-factor. So while you can get some value on Rhamondre Stevenson, because the value he has, although little, that's going to disintegrate very rapidly. Anthony, who's your last one?
The next player I am trading away, Christian Kirk. It looked like he was poised to bounce back coming off the injury. New team, new offense, but heading into the NFL draft, the Texans had different plans. Now, I get Kirk is going to be the veteran, but the NFL draft, the Texans drafted 2 rookie receivers early, 34th overall, Jaden Higgins. Then in the 3rd round, Jalen Noel. This spells doom for Kirk. Now, Higgins is a standout outside receiver, but Noel primarily played in the slot and could eventually take over this job for Christian Kirk. They also have Nico Collins, one of the best young wideouts in the NFL. So if you are a Christian Kirk fantasy manager, I would look to trade him away as soon as I can.